Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivadikacharya Ashtotar Sasi Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Amrita Lila Pravishta Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivadikacharya Ashtotar Sasi Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Syama Kunda Radha Kundi Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Ganga Mayam Namai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Vallabh Ki Jai Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadramai Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya We continue our reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 7, text number 10. The chapter entitles The Activities of King Bharata. This is in the prose, so I'll just read the Sanskrit once and we'll go on word by word. Yatasrama padani udbhayoto nabhi vir drishak chakrais chakra nadi nama sarati pravara sarvata pravritti karoti. Yatraha, where? Ashrama padani, all hermitages. Ubhayata, both on the top and the below. Nabhivi, like a symbolic mark of navel. Drishat, visible. Chakrair, with circles. Chakranadi, the Chakranadi, the river generally known as Gandaki. Nama, of the name. Sarit Pravara, the most important river of all. Sarvata, everywhere. Pavitra Karoti, sanctifies. Translated and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. In Pulaha Ashram is the Gandaki river, which is the best of all rivers. The Saligram Sila, the marble pebbles, purify all those places. On each and every marble pebble, up and down, circles like navels are visible. Translation responsibly. In Pulha Ashram is Gandaki river, which is the best of all rivers. The Salagram Sila, the marble pebbles, purify all those places on which every marble pebble, up and down, circle like navels are visible. Purport. Salagram Sila referred to pebbles that appear like stones which circles mark up and down. These are visible in the river known as Gandaki Nadi. Wherever the water of this river flow, the place becomes immediately sanctified. Om Jnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitan Myena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Snapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabudhutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Tam Vitam Sam Sajivam Sadvaitam I got lost. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tatpakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vancha Kalpaturubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhe Vacha Patidanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangham langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. So we continue to hear the great activities of Maharaj Bharat. Just a little bit of background to where we are at, the contextually. In the fourth canto, we heard the lineage or the activities of sons of Maharaj Uttanapad, Dhruva Maharaj and Maharaj Prithu Maharaj, Anga, Venu, so many. And then that ended with Pracheta's son, Daksha. So in the fifth canto, we're hearing the activities of the lineage of, so Uttanapad and Priyavrata, the brothers, they are sons of Swambhu Manu. So the Swambhu Manu is son of Lord Brahma. So Brahma, Swambhu Manu, Uttanapad and Priyavrata. Priyavrata is the older brother of Uttanapad. However, Uttanapad took the kingship because Priyavrata Maharaj was not inclined to rule. So he instead went to Gandhamadhan hill to perform a great austerities under the guidance of Narada Muni. And so we heard in the fourth canto the lineage of Uttanapad. Now we're hearing the Maharaj Priyavrata's lineage. Whereas when Priyavrata Maharaj was performing austerity, at that time the lineage of Uttanapad stopped at Maharaj Daksha, who didn't want to become a ruler. So then Brahma and Narada Muni convinces Priyavrata Maharaj to take over the ruleship of the Bhumandala. So Priyavrata Maharaj comes back, he becomes a king, and he gets married, and he has 2 wives, and from first wife he had 11 children, which is 10 sons and 1 daughter. Out of 10 sons, 3 become sannyasis, 1 daughter is married to a Sukadeva, and the 7 of the sons, first sons, becomes the rulers of the 7 islands of Jambudvip, the Bhumandala. Amongst the older son, it was the of Priyavrata was Agnidra. Agnidra's older son was Navi Maharaj. Navi Maharaj has performed yajna. He wanted to have a child similar or same as Lord Vishnu. But when the Brahmanas performed yajna, Lord Vishnu appeared on the yajna. And Maharaj Navi wanted a blessing to have some Lord, similar as Lord as his son. But Lord said, there is no one like me, so I will have to come as myself. So Rishabhdev, who is the expansion of Lord Vishnu, or Krishna, so he appears as Lord Rishabhdev. Then Rishabhdev becomes a king. Now Lord Rishabhdev has how many sons? 100 sons. So how many became, out of 100 sons, Bharat Maharaj is the oldest. So 81 sons of Rishabhdev became the Brahmanas or Karmakanda ritual performers, so they're following the Vedas, the scriptures. Then 9 of they became Kshatriyas. So the nine becomes Navayogendras, and the rest becomes Kshatriyas. So of the 100 sons, Bharat Maharaj is the oldest son. Now, as we're hearing, the activities of now Bharat Maharaj is in this chapter. Bharat Maharaj, as we also heard in this same chapter, that one of the Varsha was known as Ajnava Varsha. That has Bharat Maharaj ruled so perfectly, and so that the whole Varsha becomes a Bharata Varsha of the 9 islands, because he was a. So Maharaj Bharat performs now he becomes the king after Rishabhadev. And then he performs, in order to please Lord Vasudeva, he performs different types of sacrifices. We heard on the text 5. And how long did Maharaj Bharat rule for? Which is heard in the text 8. It was for... Yes. So it says 1,000 times 10,000. Okay, who's got the calculator?
100 million.
Yes, 100 million. Was it 100 million or 1 million? 1 million. Okay, all right, do the calculation. So 1,000 times 10,000. Okay, 7 zeros. So what's it? Million or? Lot. Okay, it's a lot. So he ruled for that many period. This is in text. It says here, the destiny fixed for the time of Bharat Maharaj's enjoyment was material opulence at 1,000 times of 10,000 years. 10 million. 10 million, yes. When that period was finished, he retired from the family life and divided the wealth he had received from his forefather amongst his sons. So, after retirement, I think today we're hearing, now he's going to, where he's reached, where is he gone to? Ashram of Pulaha, yeah? And in the bank of river Gandaki. So this is just a little bit of background. So what is so so now Bharat Maharaj has retired, gave his kingdom to his sons, and now he's gone to he's taking the Vanaprastha in the ashram of Pulaha. So in so many places there are holy places. Pulaha ashram is also one of the holy places, which is in the bank of river Gandaki. Who's Pulaha, by the way? Anybody? Sage, yes, Sage. Pulaha is one of the first sons of Lord Brahma, Manasaputras. He also comes as one of the Saptarishis, prominent Saptarishis. Anybody know the Saptarishis? Bhrigu, Angira, Marichi, Atri, Vasishta, Pulatsya, Pulaha, and Kratu. These are the Saptarishis that's we famously known as. So he's reached, Bharat Maharaj reached in the ashram of Pulaha. I believe Pulaha is not there anymore, but the ashram remains there. There he reached. I was just looking in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Also, it says in the 10th canto, chapter 79, when Lord Balaram was touring. See, when Mahabharata took place, the Krishna took part in Mahabharata, but Lord Balaram didn't. And instead, where did he go? He went on the pilgrimage. Huh? So in the 10th canto, the chapter 79, text 10 says, the Lord, this is Lord Balaram, the Lord followed the course of Sarayu until he came to Prayaga, where he bathed, and then performed rituals to appropriate the demigods and other living beings. Next, he went to the ashram of Pulaha. So Lord Balaram also went to this ashram in Pulaha. Mm. Yes, it's the Gandaki River. I was going to talk to this. Yeah, Gandaki River it's in the Nepal. We'll talk about this. Is the whole. We'll discuss on the Gandaki River. So Lord Balaram also went to this ashram. In the text 11 to 15, it says, Lord Balaram bathed in the Gomati River and Gandaki River as well. So this is Lord Balaram also went to this place. It's a very special place. Now, there is a whole history of Gandaki River coming into becoming a Gandaki River as well. Huh? So I thought we just spend a little bit of time of discussing how this river has become come into existence. What's the significance? The history behind, we find this is in the Bhaktivedanta Purana. It's related to Tulsi Maharani. Gandaki River is also related to Tulsi Maharani. I was just listening. This is the whole story of this Tulsi Maharaj exists in the Gandaki River, and then how the history of Tulsi Maharani, how she becomes Tulsi Maharani, is narrated in the many different Puranas, primarily in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. And I was listening to one of the narration by Amal Bhakta Prabhu, Amal Bhakta Swami. If you can find it, it's about roughly 8 hours of audio. That is the whole narration of Tulsi Maharani's life history of how she becomes Tulsi Maharani is there is on his website, if anybody was interested. So just to briefly summarize the same story. So, because we're discussing about the Gandaki River, this is the topic of the today. Now, there was a king by the name, comes in the line of Daksha Shavarni. He was a Vaishnava, he was a devotee of Vaishnava. And in his lineage, so Daksha Shavarni, and the Daksha Shavarni's son was Vishnu Shavarni, and Vishnu Shavarni's son was Raja Shavarni. They're all Vaishnavas. So Raja Shavarni's son was named Brishadhwaja. Now this king becomes a devotee of Lord Lord Shiva. See, up until this now, they were Vaishnavas. Now this particular king, who's by the name of Brishadhwaja, becomes the devotee of Lord Shiva. To the extent also he actually blasphemes the devotees of Vishnu. So he pleased Lord Shiva greatly, and Lord Shiva was very pleased. However, because he was blaspheming Lord Vishnu, the demigods were not happy So it so happened the Lord finally the Suryadev couldn't tolerate the blasphemy of the Brishadhwaja, so he cursed them. So for the 2 generations, that they will lose the power, or they will lose their wealth or kingdom. So in that line, the 2 kings. Says the Lord. So what had happened was then when Lord Shiva found out that Lord Surya has cursed, he got upset. To the extent he actually chased him. He wanted to even take revenge. And so why did he curse my devotee? Huh? So it so happened Lord Shiva, Lord Surya Dev, fearing Lord Shiva, he takes shelter of Lord Brahma. And there's all the collection of devotees. So finally they reach Lord Vishnu ultimately, of course. Yeah? And then Lord Shiva ensures and follows him. He also reaches the Vaikuntha because he's chasing Lord Shiva, Surya Dev. So in that duration, there's a whole conversation takes place between the Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. It's actually consoling Lord Shiva and said, don't worry, it pacifies them and everything. During that time, it's whole that conversation time, I think some moment or some time has elapsed. So what had taken place, because they were in Vaikuntha, there's a time gap took place. And then by the time Lord Vishnu tells them that, hang on, you're being upset, there's already 2 generations has already passed by the time all this conversation have taken between us. So now the next generation is, who has come in the line of Vishwadwaja is Dharmadwaja and Kushadwaja. There's in between there's 2 generations gap missed. So the Vishwadwaja is already left. So these 2, Dharmadwaja and Kushadwaja, they became Vaishnavas again. And they were worshipping Lakshmi Devi as a worshipping. So now this is Lord Narayan telling the story what's taking place. So as a blessings of Lakshmi Devi, Dharmadwaja gets a daughter, who's the partial expansion. Lakshmi Devi himself partially expands as a daughter of Dharmadwaja. So Dharmadwaja now has a daughter who is so exquisitely beautiful, who is a partial expansion of, and her name is Tulsi. Yeah, Tulsi. What is the meaning of Tulsi? What does it means? Does anybody know? Tulsi means that which cannot be compared, is incomparable or matchless. There's no comparison, as in beauty or anything, any opulence, which has highest quality. Matchless, it means matchless or incomparable. Tulsi. So, being a Tulsi, Tulsi wanted a husband, Narayan as a husband. So now Tulsi, she wanted to get the Narayan as a husband, so she goes to perform tapasya. So I think she goes to Badrinath for performing a tapasya. There she performs a tapasya for a long period of time. It says, so what she did, it says, in summer she exposed herself to 4 fires around her and suns above the winter. She submerged herself in this icy water. In the rainy season, she subjected herself to heavy downpours of funeral grounds. For 20,000 years, she subsisted on the fruits and water. For 30,000 years, she chewed the dry leaves. For 40,000 years, she lived only on air. And for 10,000 years, she didn't even breathe. That was the severe austerities she's gone taken. Huh? So finally, Lord Brahma appears in the scene, and then she blesses her. She want her to stop doing that performance, similar to like Dhruva Maharaj, like when he stopped breathing, the whole universe is coming to this. So that was the. So Lord Brahma comes in the scene, and then he requests Tulsi to stop, and then asks for benediction. She asks Lord Brahma the benediction. She said, I have a desire to have Lord Narayana as my husband. So in that meeting, Lord Brahma reminds her who she was in previous life. So in previous life, Tulsi was in the Tulsi, but she was in Goloka Vrindavan. Yeah. How she became Tulsi, and she narrates the story of how she becomes this daughter of Dharmadhvaja. So Lord Brahma, this is now Lord Brahma saying, what is he said? So Lord Brahma comes and said, Oh Tulsi, ask me a boon, whatever it be, devotion to Hare or servitude of him, of freedom from the age of freedom, I will grant it. Now this is Tulsi actually herself is saying, because she is Jati Smara, means she could remember the previous life. Now Tulsi Devi is narrating her past history. She says, and he says, I will, she said, oh yes, oh Lord, this is now Tulsi Devi talking to Lord Brahma. He said, I will ask, please listen, I will not hide my desire out of fear or shame, since you are all-knowing. My name is Tulsi. Formerly, I was a cowherd girl in Goloka, and there I served Radharani and beloved of Lord Krishna. I am a partial expansion of Radharani and was her favorite companion. But one day, in the place where the Rasa dance had occurred, Krishna became intimate with me, and I fainted from excessive joy. While I was lying there, Radharani suddenly appeared and saw me in that condition. She was not all pleased. Blinded with fury, she first reproached Krishna and then cursed me. She said, "O vile one, go and take birth as a human being." This is Radharani's. Anyway, so that's how Tulsi Devi now has come down to the daughter of becoming Tulsi. And then because she's partial expansion of Lakshmi, and then she's also Lakshmi is partial expansion of Radharani. So there's, she wanted to have a husband as Narayan. However, now Lord Brahma also tells him, before you will become you will have a husband as a Narayan, but before that, you will have to there's another cowherd boy who is also, what did he say? Lord Brahma replied and said, "Oh Tulsi." So the Lord Brahma, there's one of the cowherd boy in Goloka also is doing a tapasya. He's come as the demon by the name of Shankachuda. Lord Brahma says, "Oh Tulsi, Sudama," this is by the name Sudama. Sudama was a partial expansion of Krishna and was one of the Krishna's cowherd boy in Goloka. As a result of curse of Radharani, he is presently living in earth amongst the Danavas, demons. His name is Shankachuda. He is very energetic and no one can compare him in his strength. While living in Goloka, he was very attached to you and wanted to marry you. But because he feared Radharani, he did not make any virtue. So in another instance, what happens is this Sudama, there's Krishna also again becomes intimate with another gopi called Viraja. Viraja, yeah. And when Radharani sees them, and then what happens is the Viraja becomes, she becomes the river immediately. She hides herself as it becomes a river. That is Viraja river, that between spiritual world and the, yeah. So in that instance, again, Radharani wanted to also chastise Krishna. Just Krishna hides somewhere. Finally, he finds Krishna. She finds Krishna, and they start rebuking Krishna. It so happened there was this cowherd boy, the cowherd boy named by the name Sudama, also happened to be in the same place when Radharani was rebuking Krishna. She was chastising Krishna so much that this Sudama was hearing all they couldn't tolerate anymore, and he also, chastises Radharani or something. In that instance, Radharani gets upset and she curses him to become a demon. There's a whole long narration. I won't go there. So that's how this Sudama has now come as Sankachuda. So Tulsi has come as daughter of Dharma. She retained the name by the name Sankachuda. So Sankachuda also performed a great austerity, long austerity. And Lord Brahma also comes to Sankachuda. He said, then he also reminds of his previous life, and he said, okay, now there's also Tulsi who is also performing austerity. You go there and meet her and then marry her. And then Lord Brahma also tells Tulsi Devi that this is what's taken place. Now you marry him first, and then you'll have Narayana as your husband after. So the Sankachuda, and then Tulsi also asked for one other boon. He said, I have been cursed by Radharani, but I want to do something that's special. Please grant me a boon that I will lose my fear of Radharani. That is two boons. So she wanted her husband as a Narayan, and the second boon she wanted from Lord Brahma was that I lose my fear of Radharani. So on this side, Sankachuda also performed a great austerity, and the Lord Brahma comes there, and then he gives him a boon. He said he becomes a powerful, and Lord Brahma also gives, he tells him that you become a very powerful, because now he's taken birth as a demon. And Lord Brahma also gives him a amulet. It's an amulet? Kavacha? Kavacha. That as long as you wear this, no one can kill you. And second, he says, as long as your wife is chaste, no one can kill you at that time. So this Sankachuda now goes to where Tulsi Devi is and approaches her. Lord Brahma is gone from the scene. And initially she refused. There was a whole conversation that she refuses. Then he goes, let me just tell you this, quite interesting conversation takes place between the Sankachuda and Tulsi Devi when Sankachuda approached her for marriage. So when Sankachuda reaches Tulsi Devi, he says, "Oh, beautiful girl, whose daughter are you?" This is when he reaches at the place. "And how have you come to this forest? You took most fortunate, you look most fortunate and blessed. Indeed, you are the personification of heavenly joy, best of the woman. You are model of the loneliness and can certainly bewilder even the saints. And then Tulsidevi replies. She says, I am the daughter of King Dharmadhwaja and have been practicing ostracism here. But who are you? Why are you talking to me? If noble man sees a virtuous woman alone, he does not talk to her. So go away, wherever you please. So she refuses him. And she's trying to now test, and very sarcastic. She says, in the Shastra it says, only the degraded men desire a woman. First, woman is sweet to a man, but later proves fatal. Though her mouth rains honey, honey, and the heart is like a jar of poison. She's just testing him, so it just gives the whole conversation, very beautiful conversation takes place. Anyway, finally, see now, because Lord Brahma also has told him what is taking place, so now they accept, they become, she marries the name Shankhachuda. Another name, I think Jalandhar is the same, there's also same personality as I understand. So, the Shankhachuda and Tulsi now married, and Shankhachuda becomes a very powerful demon. He even actually chases all the demigods from their respective position. It's so that it could, to the point, now demigods now, they don't have their power anymore. So the demigods get together and they go to Lord Brahma. Brahma goes to Shiva, and Shiva goes to Lord Vishnu again. Yes, as usual, yeah. So Lord Vishnu tells them the whole history of these two personalities, the Shankhachuda and the Tulsi Devi, to the demigods as well. And then said, okay, now here's the plan. The Lord Shiva, along with his whole army, will go and attack. But because he has got this boon that as long as his wife is chaste, as long as he has that amulet, he cannot be killed. So how to kill now? They can make a plan. So Lord Shiva becomes the commander of the army, and then he goes. And then before they send the like a messenger, like Duta. Like Lord Krishna came to Mahabharata, the Shanti Dut. They also send one of the demigod by the name Pushpadanta to say, this is, you have now, please give the respective place, or allow these demigods to rule, go to their respective post, give them post back. Because he has taken all the posts from the demigods. So, but he refuses. So anyway, Lord Shiva becomes the commander of the army, and then they attack. Now there's a whole war takes place. For many long time, there's a whole description of the war and everything. So that takes place. So finally, what happens is Lord Vishnu comes in the scene. Now Lord Vishnu comes in the battlefield as a form of Brahmana. Because Shankhachuda is also is a pious king, and when Brahman approached, he said, "Ask anything you wish." So at that time, Lord Vishnu asked for that amulet, or the necklace, whatever he had. So give me that. So because now he has promised to Brahmana, he gives that amulet to him. On the other side, Lord Vishnu is also taken a form of a Shankhachuda. He goes to Tulsi Devi. So And when Lord Vishnu has appeared in front of Tulsi as Sankachuda, she receives him and he asks him, so and then the whole conversation takes place. I have won the battle, I have come back. So she receives him, everything, and then at that time there is an intimacy relations takes place between Tulsi and Lord Vishnu. But somehow Tulsi finds out, no, this is not my husband. He's come, he's somebody, it's not. So this whole thing. So she finds out, this is not my husband, this is not how, because she knows how intimate relationship between husband, she gathers something that's not my husband. So she finds out, then if Lord Vishnu comes as, he reveals himself as Lord Vishnu. So at that time, Tulsi was a bit upset, and so you have become as hard-hearted as stone. So you become a stone. She curses him to become a stone. And that Lord Vishnu has now comes as in the form of Salagram. That is how Salagram has become, Lord Vishnu has become Salagram. Now, Lord Vishnu in the form of, you could say, blessing, or in the form of cursing, whatever you can call it. He said, okay, you had performed austerity to become my wife. Now I have come and fulfill your desire as being a husband. However, you curse me. At the same time, Lord Vishnu said, okay, I will be, you become Salagram, and then your body, that which is now as a Tulsi, will become as a Gandaki river. This body will become a Gandaki river, and I will become the Salagram Shila that is found only in the Gandaki river. And the hair of that Tulsi's body will become the plant of Tulsi Devi. That is how the Tulsi comes into existence here. So the Gandaki river is in Nepal, and that the source is a Damodar Kunda, yeah, which is close to Muktinath, where Lord Vishnu is self-manifested deity of Lord Vishnu is there. So the Salagram, the Gandaki river flows from Damodar Kund, and the Salagram is only found in the Gandaki river. It is said that if somebody devotee goes to Damodar Kund and even just offers a tulsi leaf, and the Salagram will manifest from the this is I heard, I haven't got that manifests from the Kund comes in. It's very it cannot go there because it's very high in altitude. You cannot. You just need that. So not many people will go there. If you happen to go there, if you worship with the faith, if you offer a tulsi leaf, then the Salagram Sila manifests from there. I can't recall the name. Some devotees have tried that, actually done it in recent history. Anyway, so that's how the Salagram Sila flow from in the Gandaki river from the Damodar Kund. It is also said that Damodar Kund is why is it became a Damodar Kund? Because the Nalakuvera and Manigriva, who were delivered by Lord Damodar, after they were delivered by Lord Krishna, they also went to Damodar Kund and performed a austerity there. Because they worship Damodar, that's why it's called Damodar Kund. That's one of the reasons it's called Damodar Kund there. So, anyhow, that's how now that the Tulsi's body has become a Gandaki river, Lord Vishnu has become a Salagram Sila, and Tulsi has also manifested as a Tulsi plant from Tulsi's hair. So this is how it's described. So, I'll just read you some of the blessings that Lord Vishnu gives as the blessings of worshipping Tulsi. I just had some notes here, just give me a second. So, when this conversation taking place, the whole, cursing and becoming a salagram, as a Lord Vishnu becomes salagram, the Tulsi becomes a Tulsi plant, and the body of the Tulsi Devi becomes a Gandhika river. So, Lord Vishnu gives blessings of to Tulsi Devi. He says, this is Lord Narayan speaking. The sanctifying Tulsi tree will grow in Goloka on the coast of the Biraja river on the Rasadhan site. So this now Tulsi, Lord Krishna also blessing that the Tulsi plant also grow in the spiritual world as well. In the forest of Vrindavan, Bhandrika, Champaka and Chandana, and in the groves of Madhavi, Ketaki, Kunda, Malika and Malita, you live in the sacred place and bestow the highest religious merit. All the holy spots will converse and reside at the root of a Tulsi tree. And thus spiritual merit will occur to all. O fair one, all the demigods, and I will wait there to gather the falling Tulsi leaves. Whoever will be moistened or anointed with the water that has been sanctified by Tulsi leaves will reap the benefit of having bathed in the sacred rivers and perform all kinds of sacrifice. So this is how just by pouring a little water, that's what we do in the morning, every morning, that you get the benefit of doing all kinds of sacrifice Lord Hare will not be pleased with the gift of thousands of jars of honey as with one Tulsi leaf. He says, if you offer thousands of jars of honey, it will not please him, but if you offer just as simple with the love and devotion, one Tulsi leaf, that could please the Lord Hare. Of offering one such leaf as a gift will bring a same reward as obtained by offering millions of cows. So if you wanna, instead, if you give thousands of cows, if you just offer a leaf, the Tulsi leaf, to a Lord, it's as good as offering a millions of cows or giving a donation. If one offers a Tulsi leaf during a month of Kartik, he gets the same reward as just mentioned above. If at the time of death one drinks or gets the Tulsi leaf water, one will be freed from all his sins, and proceeds to Vaikuntha. That's how, if you hear even in general, in India, it's a common practice that if somebody is dying, first thing they will be looking for some Ganga water or looking for water Tulsi leaves to put in their mouth. This is where it is coming from. It says, if person has the Tulsi leaves, if it drinks water, whoever drinks the Tulsi leaf water daily will be redeemed of his lifetime and receive the benefit of dipping in the Ganges. Whoever plucks Tulsi leaves, keeps it on his person, then leaves his body in the holy place, will go to Vishnu Loka. That's how when person is dying, you see, then they generally put Tulsi They look for tulsi and put in the body. There's also, there's a negative side also. If you don't look after tulsi, if you do this, whole blessings are given. So we have to be very careful to look after the tulsi and everything. So there's a long blessing is there. So also I won't go through that. I'll just quickly read through a few. Lord Hare now giving the blessings of somebody who worships the Salagram Silas. See, these Salagram Silas are found in the Gandaki River, and there's a insect called Vajrakita, which got a teeth like a diamond. Vajra means diamond. Teeth like a diamond, and it makes a mark on the Salagram Silas. So these Salagram Silas are worshipped in a different kind of forms, a different avatara. Sometimes they worship as Lord Nrsimha, or Vamana, or different incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And they are recognized. There's a whole book, how you recognize those Salagram Silas, according to the markings of that insect called Vajrakita. He marks it, and then they are worshipped as different forms. Sometimes they worship as Sudarshan Chakra, sometimes they worship as Ananta, sometimes Nrsimha, Vamana, and so on and so forth. And these are markings marked by this Kita, and that's how they worship. So there's a different kind of blessings of each type of Salagram Sila worship. This is Lord Vishnu having a conversation with Tulsi. As for me, by your curse, I'll become as stone and remain close to bank of the river Gandaki. Millions of Vajrakita worms with their sharp teeth will make Kavanchula's rings and the stone there, a chakra, representing me. These will be known as saligrams or sacred stones. These stones, which have one entrance hole, 4 rings, chakra, are marked with garlands of wildflowers and look like a fresh rain cloud, will be known as Lakshmi Narayan Murtis or form. These stones that have no entrance holes with 4 ring chakra will look like rain clouds, have no garlands marking, which we call Lakshmi Janardhan chakra. So he gives the whole description of how each markings will represent what type of, which form of Lord. Yeah, he gives the. There's a whole. I had some. Okay, just quickly wanted to read some of the benefit of. Okay. Without a doubt, the demigods are pleased when the person who daily worships the Salagram Silas, he becomes so holy that even all the holy places reside and desire his touch. So one who worships demigod also can be. He becomes a Jivan Mukta, liberated while physically in body, and godly. Ultimately goes to Vaikuntha and serves the Lord Hare there eternally. Any sin, such as killing a Brahmana, flies away from just as a snake flee the sight of Garuda. The earth is concentrated by the dust of the feet, by the birth. He redeems 100,000 of ancestors. So he redeems punya. Anyone who while dying drinks Salagram Sila water will be free from all sins and go to Vaikuntha. He becomes completely free from the effect of the karma, material action and reactions, and without doubt becomes forever absorbed in the vision of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. Anyone who dies while holding Saligram Sila in the hands, he goes to, his hand goes to Kumbhipaka hell for. Okay, it lies down. Well, this is a negative side of it. It says, if anyone breaks his promise while holding Saligram Sila in his hand, he goes to Asipatra hell for 100,000 manvantara. So, worshipping Saligram Sila is very powerful, but if you neglect or take a vow, or if you don't fulfill, it's also considered a. So, in conclusion, anyway, so the Tulsi also goes back to Golok Vrindavan. The Sankachuda goes back to Golok Vrindavan after death, life and everything. So this is where Bharat Maharaj has gone to the bank of Gandaki river and is worshipping Saligram Sila with the Tulsi. And this is how this is the important. Just to summarize today's where Bharat Maharaj has reached, and he's doing this worship. So, just a brief history of Saligram Sila. And so. Okay, any comments, questions? I'll end here. Yes, Mataji.
Just a comment and a question.
So then, does you have my second mic? Maybe so I don't have to repeat, because there's people hearing online. So just wanted to hold that. So, thank you, Baba.
So Srimati Radharani has cursed Tulsi Devi to come to earth in the manner that many of the demons, like Sankachuda, would have been cursed by Vishnu, by Krishna. And normally when the demons come, there's quite an active pastime with Krishna, and the benefits to the world that Krishna, because he's genius, even the demons attract, Krishna's activities with the demons attract the conditioned souls to Krishna's pastimes. So Tulsi Devi's pastimes are less active, but you've described a whole lot of benefits that we get by worshipping Tulsi Devi in her incarnation as the plant. So I just wanted to appreciate that.
Thank you.
Curse of Srimati Radharani.
See, when we kind of, we may see it as the, why is this taking place? It's a spiritual world, and then there's curse, and this taking place. But just also remember, nothing happens without the will of the Lord. Even the pastimes of Jai and Vijay coming to this world was Lord's desire. Similarly, I mean, these great personalities come to do a great humanity benefit to the humanity. You know, different. Tulsi Maharani is one of the example, and you know they come, and then there's whole. Sometimes Lord takes pleasure in fighting with them. They come as Hiranyakashipu. This is all Lord's desire. They don't come. Even they come, they do some great activities, and to teach us some lessons, or teach us, give us the impetus or desire for us to return back home, back to Godhead. They come. So we don't normally take these as in a negative sense, but it's all Krishna's desire, how it's taking place for the benefit of the humanity in this world. That's how I take it. Even I asked this question after I took initiation from his Jagadish Maharaj. Right after the initiation, I asked these. I mean, similar in the context of why there's curse and counter curse even in the spiritual world. That was my question. So, and he put it in a similar context. It says this is happens because the will of the Lord. And these personalities, they don't completely fall down. They do some certain activities for the humanity, benefit of the humanity, and they return back home, back to Godhead. There's a purpose behind it. And in general condition, Lord, if the jiva goes back home, back to Godhead, Krishna promises that he will never return. In Bhagavad Gita, right? Yad gatvana nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Once you return, you will never return. Krishna promises. So in that promise, you will not be subject to a curse or anything. That Krishna takes care of that one. Even if it happens so, you will come to assist in Krishna's pastime, and you will go back. You will be guaranteed. So there is no loss.
So, question, I just couldn't quite pick up I don't know if it was a curse or I think a benefit. You were mentioning about the Shalagram Shilas, you had a list about the earth, touching the earth. I couldn't quite hear. Can you just repeat that from your list?
Could you repeat the earth? What was it again?
It was from the Shalagram Shila blessing list, I think.
Yeah. Okay, let me just open that.
It's something about touching the earth. If you can please find that. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. There's one of the I think kind of negative. It says anyone who lies down or sleeps while holding salagram still in his hand goes to Kumbha Paka hell for as long as life of Lord Brahma. I'm assuming that you're just neglectingly or you're just putting it there, taking it cheaply, and then just sleeping or whatever, not taking care properly. In that case, if you worship in that manner, then there's also an offense. That is what I'm taking that as that line as that one. Okay, and trying to find that. Something about the earth, did he say?
Yeah. Sorry, I can't.
That's all right, okay. Okay, I'll just read it. He who worships the Salagram Shila without offering tulsi leaves on it or separates the leaf from the stone will have to suffer separation from his wife in the next birth. It's one of the... So, and if one does not offer tulsi leaves in a conch, he remains without his wife for a 7th birth and becomes diseased. He who maintains the Salagram Sila maintains the Salagram Sila, the tulsi, and the conch in the place becomes very dear to Lord Narayan. It is painful for a person to separate from the beloved, whose company he once enjoyed. You were dearmost Shankachura. This is Lord Narayan speaking. So yeah, so I couldn't find them, but I'll share the documents with you. That's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So there is benefit, and there is also you have to be not negligence. As we know, you can see in the altar that we have these Salagram Sila. We worship Trivakram, and we have Gopalji, we have Nrsimhadev, there's Radhagiridhari, there's Salagram Sila. So it is, I think, one of the benedictions. If you worship Salagram, anyone who lives within the radius of, I think it was 8 or 12 kilometers, and if you leave the body there, there's a merit. I can't recall exactly. I won't be. There's a benefit. So within the radius, even the radius of this 12 kilometers radius of temple, because there's a Salagram Sila is being worshipped, anyone who lives there is benefited. Anyone dies there, it also gets a spiritual merit. So that's the power of the worshipping of Shaligraph Srila. Yeah, Hari Hari. Yes, yes, Mataji. You had to, could you give the mic, please? Second mic. Madhumanjari.
Thank you. It's more a reflection regarding how Krishna's arrangements are trying to help the conditioned souls, expressing or manifesting himself in different ways to facilitate our purification process. And at the same time, personally, I was reflecting in the point that the kindness of Krishna is so overwhelming in many cases, like for example the stone and kilometers, 12 kilometers around, or tulsi plants. But it is easy for us to neglect that or take it for granted, and that is scary now for me in that way, because a lot of facilities and I have no qualification to honor and take advantage of those good boons that Krishna is giving us.
Yes, you're right. I mean, we have, everything. Krishna is facilitating. He's just making a point. Mataji is making a point that Lord even comes as an ordinary stone, becomes a stone for us, for our benefit, and the benefit He gives, that even you worship from the place. There's miles and miles of radius within that. People who get the, and His Lord is always giving us the becoming so kind from all respects. Sometimes become Tulsi, He comes in the form of Archa Vigraha as for us to worship and worship Him. So He comes in the form of scriptures. He comes as a devotees. He sends devotees like Prabhupada. For holy name, He comes in the form of holy name. Yeah. So many ways. Krishna is always wanting us to be, perform devotion service and come get out of from this material world. So, and it is up to us to take advantage. One thing Krishna does not take is our free will. Yeah. It is our free will. If freely you come to Krishna, He will accept you, but He will not force you. Yeah. So, yes, take advantage. Any other comments, points? Yes, Prabhu. Do you have a mic? Oh, careful, sorry. Turn it on. Turn it on.
Prabhuji, I was thinking, is it true that Tulsi Maharani does not come in that 8.4 million species of material existence?
I have not come across, I have not read whether she is part of the, amongst the plant there is 20 lakh varieties of plants. Like the living entities, they go through a different type of bodies. They have 900,000 varieties in the aquatics world. And then there's 2 lakhs. 2 million. Jalaja Navalakshani, so 900,000 is in the water. Laksha Vimshati means 20 lakhs varieties of plants. Amongst the plant, the variety of plant is 20 lakhs. So Prabhu's question is Tulsi is one of the plant? I don't know. That's a bit detailed. I'm not sure. But the lecture I was hearing from the Amal Bhakta Maharaj, that he was mentioning How is it possible that as a, Krishna can expand as a super soul, he can be everywhere. What about non-Krishna, who is not Krishna? For example, Tulsi Maharani. Can she be in Vrindavan? And can she be in New York? And can she be in France? Can she be in Melbourne? He was putting that argument and said, how do we understand that? And his answer was that just like Krishna can expand as a super soul, he has also power to empower a jiva to expand as in multiple forms. Huh? Like, yeah, right. So by the empowerment of the Lord blesses that particular devotee to be in multiple places at the same time. So that's how the Tulsi Maharani is in Vrindavan, is in Melbourne, is in New York, and somewhere else being worshipped, and their expansion of Tulsi Maharani. So that's, yeah. Okay, we'll end here. Grantha Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Tulsi Maharani ki jai, Shaligram Sela ki jai, Gaur Premanande.